Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day. The day of this car right here being able to move underneath its own power again after more than 5 years of sitting. We are back at the RX-8 again, and at this point this car is really coming together, especially considering the story behind this car, because this car has been sitting for over 5 years as a non-runner before one of my buddies decided to pick it up and drop it off at my shop for me to have a look at it. And well, I've already taken care of the majority of the problems this car had when it came to me, but there's still one giant problem that remains. Yep, the engine. So I'd say let's put this brand new 13B rotary engine back into the RX-8 because we got no time to lose, because at the end of this video I want this car driving outside my shop under its own power. Now first, a few things about this engine. This is actually brand new. To build this engine I've used completely new parts, brand new from Mazda, which would include some housings, irons, and of course all of the apex seals, corner seals, side seals, all control rings, etc. that obviously go along with it. Alongside that, I've also already fully dressed the engine with a brand new alternator, a new clutch, nice red hoses, upgraded AEM coil packs, and some lightweight replacement pulleys which look absolutely out of this world. And on top of that, we're running an upgraded Grady oil pan. Enough talking, let's jump right into the deep end. I've been waiting for this moment for quite a while now, and I cannot wait to fire this baby up, but first let's put it into the car. Putting the engine back into an RX-8 is actually much more fiddly than pulling it out, and the reason for this is actually the car's greatest strength at the same time. The engine sits really far in the back. Now, this is great for weight distribution, but super annoying when you want to install an engine because the firewall is just totally in the way. Alright, I am not even gonna pretend that this was an easy job, because honestly it wasn't, and what looked like 1 or 2 minutes in the video actually took 2 whole days just to put the engine in. I ran into some issues with my engine hoist right here, because on RX-8s sadly it is very hard to get the engine all the way in the back, because as you can see right here, the engine is just so far in the back that it makes it so hard to get the chain not to get hung up like down here, and doing this alone is next to impossible. So I actually had to get some help and tinker with these chains a little bit, and I managed to do it. Anyways, engine is in, transmission is mounted to it, all of the engine mounts are in and tightened, but of course, still much work to do. The first thing I want to do is actually bleed the clutch, because we have replaced the clutch line for a braided steel one, and we got to do that now because later, once I actually put the upper intake manifold back onto the engine, we will not have any space to reach the slave cylinder all the way down there. So I'd say, let's go. After that, we're going to put in the starter, wire everything, put all of the oil and coolant hoses in, and I mean then it's basically almost ready to fire up. Alright, the clutch and all of the brakes in the front and the rear are bled, and I gotta say, they feel absolutely amazing. Super firm on the clutch, very nice, and on the brake it's like I can literally barely press it. So I guess that's good, means it's bled. Anyways, let's keep going with the car. By the way, let me know in the comments below, what do you think, how many times do I have to crank it until it actually starts? My guess, maybe I'm being a little cocky. First try. Alright, we are now at the point where everything is really coming together. If I may say so myself, because now everything is literally in, every little thing is connected, the battery is in, so we have finally power to the car again. All of these little trays are in, and you can see they are super dirty, so the next step would be put all of the rest in, which in this case would literally just be the airbox. Install a reservoir for our beautiful little zone adapter. This basically draws clean two-stroke oil from a separate reservoir, which I will mount somewhere here in the engine bay, and delivers it all the way to the OMP, which would be the oil metering pump, which then in return injects it into the engine to lubricate everything. Let's finish this thing. I'm now going to install the airbox, put some oil in, add coolant, put the hood back on, because obviously we will need that. Let's keep pushing, we're almost there. Alright, we are topped up with coolant and with oil, of course. And what I want to do before cleaning everything and tackling all of the visual stuff about this car, I really want to crank it real quick and see if it builds oil pressure. I already pre-filled the oil pump while building the engine, just to make it easier for the oil pump to actually suck in fresh oil. But before the first startup, we will still need to crank it a few times just to build up this initial oil pressure. The way you do this on RX-8 is actually quite funny, because on RX-8s, in order to crank it without, well, the engine starting, you simply floor the gas, and that way fuel will be cut to all of the injectors, which creates the perfect opportunity to build some oil pressure. Now, before I do that, I first want to basically reset the computer of the car. And the way you do that is you turn on the ignition, and within 10 seconds you need to press the brake pedal real quick 20 times. So we're going to do that until the oil pressure light sweeps up and down. Let's pump the brake pedal. Yep, and there you go. You saw the oil pressure gauge sweep up and down. That means it's fully reset, and we can now floor it and... Alright, we don't have any oil pressure yet, but I'm just suspecting that the starter is spinning over the engine too slow to actually build oil pressure. It was just like that as well with the other RX-8 I had. The starter, even though I got a stronger starter in there, it just spun the engine over too, well, slow in order to build any oil pressure. I'm now just gonna check over the car real quick, see if we have any leaks, but that sounded very healthy. The starter spins so fast. Everything's dry underneath the car as well. Now let's just check the oil level real quick, because I've turned over the engine now, and that means that the oil filter and all of the oil coolers are actually starting to fill up, which tells me that I will probably need to top up the oil. But it looks like we are actually, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but we're actually at the very bottom line. So I'm gonna top it up just a little bit, but that's crazy. Engine sounds so healthy when you turn it over. You can just feel the compression. And honestly, I think I'm sticking with my prediction. I think it actually will fire up the first time we crank it. Let's knock on plastic bumper, I guess, because maybe I'm being too cocky here. Anyways, let's clean this engine bay up a little bit, put the hood on. Okay everyone, now there's literally only one thing standing between this car and the streets. And unfortunately, this is a very, very vital part because without it, this car will basically not even pass its emissions test, which it will need to become street legal again. And that would of course be this exhaust pipe, which has a catalytic converter built in from factory. Now the issue with this one, first of all, it's a normal catalytic converter, so it blocks the exhaust fumes so much and just restricts the engine from breathing properly. Also, these bolts are completely stripped and I've already tried everything I could, but I can basically not get them out at all. So we need to fix this before starting the car for the first time. And to make matters worse, actually, I need to leave in about an hour for the emissions test. So until then, I will somehow need to figure out how to weld this high flow catalytic converter. You can see it has 200 cells into this fresh new exhaust pipe. So let's do this real quick. This is vital because without it, we cannot start the car. And most importantly, we cannot pass the emissions test to get it street legal again. So let's go. Alright, have a look at that. I mean, she ain't pretty, but she'll do. As a matter of fact, that's probably the worst welding job I've ever done, but as long as it does the trick, I'm totally fine with that. So let's rip the old one out, put the new one in, and crank it over for the first time. It is in, and I'd say with that out of the way, let's put the wheels on, let the car down, and then fire it up. Let's see if my prediction is right and if this baby right here starts on the first try. There are many variables, such as the coil packs, for example. I upgraded the coil packs with AEM ones, but they need to be wired in a specific way, and I don't know if I wired them the right way, so that could lead to an issue. Also, I am definitely expecting an exhaust leak because this little mid-pipe thing, the flange that bolts up to the manifold, is just so warped. It was actually even warped before I started welding, so not the highest quality thing. But as long as this thing runs and there are no leaks or anything burning, I'm more than happy. So let's crank it over and pray to God that nothing goes wrong. Okay, ready? Easy. Told you. Hell yes. Okay, RX-8 starts. I'd say let's quickly head out, and wow, it's really smoking. That's just all of the Vaseline burning off, all of the assembly lube. Nothing to worry about, and it just runs so great. Wow. But yes, it runs. Told you, first try. Like, I had so much confidence in this engine because, well, for one, it's brand new. I'm now gonna just bleed the coolant real quick, and then I'll see you guys outside the shop, because I'm actually gonna drive it outside the shop once the idle has relearned itself and stuff like that. Guys, listen to that. She's officially out the shop for the first time in 5 years. Literally moving under its own power in 5 years, and she runs so good. The clutch feels amazing. The brakes are so sensitive. But I'd say let's take her for a quick rip just on this private property, just to make sure that everything works and nothing's leaking. There is a little bit of an oil leak just coming down there from the oil cooler line that returns to the engine, but it's not a major leak, and I think we can take it for a quick test drive just to check how this thing feels. Now at the moment we still got a lot of faults on the dash, mainly our DSC light, our anti-skid whatever, and the engine light. I'm hoping that the engine light will clear once I actually drive the car, but for these two lights it should just be a matter of turning the wheel all the way to the left and then all the way to the right. And then back to center. Yep. And at least our DSC light is gone. We still have that light for some reason. I'll need to read the faults from the car. But until then, let's take it for a rip. Wow. It's just the car beeping at me because I'm not wearing any seat belts. This feels great. The coilovers also feel so good. Wait, hold on, let me just shut this thing up. It feels so good. It sounds so good. Jesus. Okay, just have a listen to this. Alright, dude, first maiden voyage ticked off, and it did so well. The clutch felt amazing, the brake was, well, extremely sensitive. A little too sensitive for my liking, but apparently that's just the way it is. Means that it's properly bled at least. But man, like, oh, I really want an RX-8 myself now. I think if I ever decided to purchase an RX-8, it would literally be exactly this spec. Brand new engine, literally from top to bottom, everything is new. Some tame coilovers with some JR3 wheels. Beautiful, like brand new interior basically. And like no rust on the quarters at all. Like this thing is completely mint now. Well, apart from one thing, and that will be the visuals. Sadly, I do not have the time to fix this bumper today. I really wanted to fix it today, but there was just so much stuff left to do. Bleeding the coolant, relearning the idle, fixing some oil leaks here and there, and doing the RX-8's first oil change in, well, basically over 5 years. Sadly, I will have to push that to the next video, but in the next video, it's gonna be really exciting because not only am I gonna completely visually transform this lovely RX-8, which already looks so sick, but in the next video, it's also gonna be time for its main inspection, and we're gonna see if it passes, and if it passes, we're gonna take it for a rip for its first drive in 5 years. So make sure to stick along, hit that subscribe button right now to not miss any future videos on the RX-8 because this thing is gonna turn out so amazing. I'll see you guys in the next one.